Hello, beautiful souls. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I am not streaming from my usual spot. It looks like it's running okay. It's about a 45-second delay here, which is interesting. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me. All right, I hear it out on the patio, actually. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, so thank you. Gather around, beautiful souls. Tonight we are going to talk about the Age of Aquarius, and I'm so excited because I think I figured it out. I think I figured out why people feel so disconnected in this day and age, why we're going through this great awakening, and why it's so painful. And it came from trying to reconcile tropical astrology with the concept of the Age of Aquarius. And it was just one of those things that I was absolutely unable to do. So we talk about the Age of Aquarius. We argue about when it's supposed to start. Some people are saying it's now. We hope for it. We project onto it. But there's a big problem here. We are, by nature, beings of matter. And the sky is also matter. And so when the ages shift, our bodies shift with it, unconsciously, instinctively, intuitively. What doesn't shift, or what hasn't shifted, is our mind. So the sky's moved, the body's followed, but the mind has stayed locked in a certain frame of reference that I think is the actual problem to it all. So before we talk about where humanity's going, we have to ask a much more uncomfortable question. How can we possibly know where we're going if we don't know where we've been or which sky we're actually living under? And I think I have to back this up and go over, like, start from the beginning with you guys, like slow down and just orient us and figure out where we actually are. Most conversations about the Age of Aquarius move very quickly into the interpretive dance, the hope, the prediction. But what's often missing is something much simpler and much more foundational, and it's the orientation. And orientation isn't about what you believe, it's about your actual location. If we think about the human body being deeply responsive to its environment, as a physician, I like to think about these things. The nervous system, it adjusts continuously, often without conscious awareness. It responds to light, rhythm, stimulation, and pattern. But the mind works differently, doesn't it? Like if we just go with the flow, our body adjusts, it harmonizes with its environment. But so many times our mind gets in the way. And our mind relies on symbols, narratives, and frameworks that are inherently part of the psyche in which we operate from. So because of that, I think it's entirely possible that the body and the mind are referencing two different systems at the same time. So let me get back to the zodiacal ages. These are defined by straightforward astronomical mechanisms, which I'm going to show you tonight. They're determined by the constellation rising with the sun at the spring equinox. It's really that simple, but I'm going to take you on a journey. We're going to go through the archetypal journey. Then I'm going to take you on the journey through space. Then we're going to chat a little bit about it. And then if you guys want, we can do some astrology in a little bit. I was thinking it's a really big time right now, too. We have that new moon coming, and then we have the solstice right after that, and then Venus moves into Sagittarius, and it's just a whole lot of amazing energy coming. So we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. If you guys have questions, please put them in the comment section. I don't have like two monitors, so I have like my phone and my computer and my iPad right here, and we're just making it work. So the whole crux of this is that when you have two realities, you have the reality of your body and you have the reality of your mind, you are in tension. The more receptive your nervous system is, it's guided by the world view that never fully releases the need for dominance and defense. This is the Aries archetype, right? This is our tropical system. And as we move closer to Aquarius, something similar is happening again. So we're going to go through all of that tonight. Let me just see who's here. It looks like we have 12 in the chat already. That is so exciting. Let's see. All right. We have Lori from Washington, thank you so much for being here, Lori. I appreciate you so much. Mary Mystic Lorna is here in windy Oregon. Yes, I've seen those, the news. You guys are getting hurricane force gusts. That's crazy. All right. I have a couple of announcements for you guys before we get into the, hello, Ultimus, before we get into the presentation. It's not really a presentation today. We're just going to sort of feel into this and see if we can come to a conclusion. Let's see. African Wolf is here. Hello, hello. Teresa's here. Kaki is here from South Texas. Awesome. It's so good to see you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Those of you that are channel members, once again, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting this work. And if I don't thank you enough, I'm so sorry. We just had our monthly Zoom call on Monday this past week, and it was really good. We got into some really awesome energy. The group was really, really lively, and we're growing. So it's really nice to see that. What I enjoy is just getting a group of you together and talking to you about astrology. And so that's what we do on that call. You guys are actually on the Zoom call with me and talking to me. So I absolutely love that interaction. And then on Saturday, we had our last office hours with this round of Stellar Foundations. This went very, very well. Again, Stellar Foundations is opening for enrollment in just another couple of weeks. We're going to open up early bird enrollment for the spring semester. That's going to start on February 2nd. So I hope you guys will join us with that. The other big announcement is the Cycles of Light class. I don't have anything to show you on that right now, but this class is going to be tremendous. If you don't know astrology and you want to learn, this is probably the first class you're going to want to take, because I always compare it to looking at the Grand Canyon and having a picture of the Grand Canyon. It's so different because when you're actually there in the Grand Canyon, you feel it. You are part of the Grand Canyon. But then when you just look at a postcard, it really doesn't do it justice. And to me, that's what the sky is like. So when I look up at the sky and I feel into the cycles, I really, embody and become part of it. But when you just look at these charts, it's not the same thing. So if you can kind of geek out on the cyclical nature of the cosmos, it makes looking at the chart that much more interesting and awe-inspiring, because what you're looking at are these patterns in motion, snapshots of these patterns. So there's a link for that pinned to the chat and also in the description. I hope you guys check it out. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. And I think the final thing is ISAA, so the International Sidereal Astrology Association. I've partnered with them. Stellar Foundations is one of their recommended courses on their website, so I'm really excited about that. And I am going to be joining them on their Wednesday podcast. I think it's the 21st of January, so I am excited to be there with those girls. If you don't already check them out, do look up Sumerian Astrology. They do a podcast every Wednesday. And then on the 24th, I'll be doing a modernistic, Hellenistic techniques webinar for ISAA. So I hope you guys check all that out. And I think that's everything. So what do you guys say? We get into the zodiacal ages. And we're all pretty familiar with the Age of Aries, with the Age of Pisces, and with the Age of Aquarius, right? Because we, according to, popular myth and studying of these zodiacal ages and the way that the earth precesses, we understand that the Age of Aries was before the Common Era. So essentially, 2,000 years ago, it was the Age of Aries. Then we entered the Age of Pisces and all the things that come with Pisces, all the things that you can think of with that constellation, but on a greater, more astronomical scale. And the dawning of the Age of Aquarius, the song that they sing about it, we're in it, when if one frequency is starting to decrease, the Age of Pisces, another one is starting to increase, and that's the Age of Aquarius. So I think it's really, really a good idea to distill these ages one by one. And then I want to talk to you about the disconnection that I see between the sky, between astrology and what we're doing now, and these ages. I actually have some visuals for you guys. So what I'll do is share my screen and we'll get into just I only have 4 slides this time. You guys will be so proud of me. All right, here we go. So we'll get into this right here. This live stream stuff is hard to do sometimes when you don't have all your stuff. So here it is. This is the progression of the zodiacal ages. We've got Aries, the warrior with the sword here. We've got Pisces, the water age, the age of the Christ, the age of religion, the age of intuition, surrender, merging. And then we're coming into the age of Aquarius, where it's logical, it's technological, it's integrated with the technology, spirituality with technology, right? If you want to just summarize it in a few sentences. So let's just think about the age of Aries. The age of Aries corresponds to a period in which human identity was shaped through assertion and separation. This was a formative stage in our development, one where existence itself required courage, decisiveness, and the ability to act in the face of danger. The nervous system during this time was oriented towards vigilance, readiness, survival, strength. The capacity to respond quickly and decisively mattered. These qualities were extremely necessary in this time. Aries also teaches initiation. It teaches the emergence of selfhood and the will to exist. It carries the energy of beginnings, of carving a piece in the world, and of learning how to stand. Difficulty arises when this mode of being becomes fixed. When initiation never yields to integration, and when conflict remains the primary way meaning is organized. So as you look at this image, you can feel the intensity and that forward momentum. There's a presence, there's a tension, there is a readiness. We forge our identities through separation, conflict, assertion of the self. Power is understood through force and dominance and the ability to survive. So if you think about, 2,000 years ago, what it might have been like, we had warring nations and we had, whoever could dominate had the most. They had the most wives, they had the most money, they had the most power, they had the most influence. And back then, the human body had a nervous system that was tuned towards the age of Aries. Okay. So fast forward now to the age of Pisces. This is the current era that we're in, basically 000 AD. Okay, this is when the age of Pisces kind of technically started. And so as the equinox of spring, at least for the northern hemisphere, shifted into Pisces, the backdrop softens, right? Human awareness becomes more emotionally attuned, more imaginative, and more oriented towards meaning beyond the individual self. Pisces dissolves boundaries. It invites trust, compassion, and surrender. It opens the door to mysticism, devotion, and a sense of connection with something greater. And when we look back, as we are entering the age of Pisces, there's this openness that's often unfolded within the systems that were structured by the older assumptions of control and power, right? So you think about countries, people, human rights, things like that have evolved over time. I mean, most human beings can't murder like they used to. Their nervous system just doesn't handle it. We can watch it on TV, but we can't actually do it. I mean, some people can, but I think for the most part, most of us actually would not be okay to do that unless they were forced to in some really unforeseen circumstance. So the nervous system opens, we become more receptive, and we navigate a world that really hasn't quite fully learned how to protect or honor that receptivity. It creates a subtle but persistent paradox moving through the age of Pisces, spiritual language flourishing alongside structures that continue to rely on hierarchy and force. Faith sometimes became entangled with fear rather than trust. And so as you sit with this image, notice both the beauty and the vulnerability here in Pisces, very different from the age of Aries, right? There's grace here, and there's also risk. Openness without sovereignty carries these consequences. So the identity dissolves in Pisces. If you're moving backwards through the zodiac, precessing Aries to Pisces, you're moving over that really dark cusp where Cetus dwells, right? It's just this despair. It's the dark night of the soul before the great awakening, which is Aquarius. Power is often expressed through devotion, sacrifice, and surrender. And the main character of this age has been the Christ, right? And that true Christ energy of unconditional love and devotion and sacrifice and surrender has been suppressed, even though our nervous systems, our bodies are in this age right now. I mean, a lot of you say you're sensitives. I'm a sensitive. You're intuitive. You feel things. You're, what do they call it? Empaths, right? Everyone's an empath in the age of Pisces. We're all empaths. We're feeling each other. We're feeling the collective mood. And meaning is often sought through transcendence, salvation narratives, and spiritual beliefs. And that's what we're living through right now. And then we have the Age of Aquarius. This is what's coming for us, right? Where the identity is formed through coherence, resonance, and authentic self-knowledge. You know, people often talk about alignment. So that's where your power comes from, when you're aligned with your truth. In shared networks where everybody benefits rather than this person's the boss. Aquarius introduces a distinctly different environment. It's associated with networks, the circulation of information, and electrical coherence. Patterns emerge quickly. Inconsistencies become visible with very little delay. It's very hard to lie in the Age of Aquarius. They're trying to lie a lot, but I think it'll get harder and harder for people to actually bald-faced lie. And those of you looking for entertainment on YouTube are looking for authenticity. And so as our nervous systems transform into resonance with Aquarius energy, we become more sensitive to stimulation and more attuned to that coherence. Many people will experience this as heightened awareness, accompanied by a need for regulation and grounding. Those of you that mess with plant medicine or mind-altering substances to reach transcendence, you also need to ground, because what you're doing is very Aquarian. But you won't even need those medicines when the real Age of Aquarius hits us. There's no belief or surrender here. It's literally just alignment. I see and therefore I know. So there's a clarity, but a responsibility as well. And you participate with the interconnected field. So as you look at this image, notice the steadiness without armor. This is the new warrior now. First he was the emboldened sword-wielding warrior. Then he was the one on his knees in front of the divine feminine in the water. And now he's standing connected to a network. It's presence without force, and it's connection that does not require loss of the self. So we're all kind of already learning how to do this. But I think some of you can also feel some of this Aries energy still too. You feel it in the systems that are gasping for their very last breath, because, I mean, even if there is bleed through in the different ages, there's no way that an energy like this can move into an energy like this. It's not aligned. It doesn't resonate. Not at all. I mean, if you thought that this energy didn't resonate in Pisces, it definitely doesn't resonate here. Let me just kind of riff with you guys a little bit about what this energy feels like in Pisces, so that you can identify the systems and the energies that are around you that need to be released, so that you can surrender into the full energy of Pisces and move into the Age of Aquarius. And I'm sure once I go through this with you, you will think of quite a few systems in your life or in other people's lives that are following this mode. So it's our minds. Remember this, okay? It's not our nervous system. Our nervous system and our body is in the energy of the Age of Pisces. But if your mind is in the Age of Aries, there's a feeling of confusion and frustration that cannot be named. There's an impulse to act and to decide and to assert, meeting a field that responds slowly, indirectly, or not at all. like resistance or silence. Control feels like slippery, certainty dissolves. And this can create a sense that something essential is being lost, even though there's nothing tangible that's actually disappeared. Action no longer produces clear outcomes, and effort doesn't reliably translate into authority or resolution. So inside this mismatch, the Aries mind often compensates by tightening its grip. Beliefs become stronger. The lines between right and wrong harden, right and left, red and blue. Your religion, my religion. Meaning is defended rather than explored. So, because Pisces does not respond well to force, an Aries energy in this field feels perpetually unfulfilled. It's as if pushing against water. You just can't do it. There's an exhaustion, a moral rigidity, an aging, a feeling of being spiritually betrayed by a world that no longer behaves according to familiar rules. And over time, this creates disillusionment. Aries mentally senses that its tools are no longer effective, but it doesn't yet know what to replace them with. And so without recalibration, without anything like, tuning the mind into the Pisces energy, the assertion turns to frustration and leadership turns into tighter control, disguised as certainty. And so this is the church, shoving astrologers and astronomy underground. This is the church getting rid of the divine feminine, getting rid of the true sciences that show you your true power, right? The curious mind being pushed and quieted, questioning authority, those sorts of things. Those are the sorts of things that you can't force anymore. Like people are out there, people are talking, and if something feels like it's unfair or not on the level or not Piscean, people are calling it out now, which I think is really quite beautiful. So what would happen if we took, so that's Aries energy moving into Pisces, but what if we're still pulling some of that Aries energy into Aquarius? What would that actually look like or feel like? And here I'm just imagining what holding on to these old structures of war and division, what that's going to do when our nervous systems actually move into Aquarius. What we can also look out for when things that are new come into our field or our awareness. So when Aries, remember, this is the mind again. So you have mental energy. They might be individuals, they might be institutions, they might be religious structures or political structures that are mentally oriented in the Aries mindset. When it comes into an Aquarius environment, it's far more intense, right? Because Aquarius amplifies everything: speed, visibility, consequence. And so the drive to dominate or to lead through force now plays out across networks rather than the battlefield. So instead of blood, it's information and attention. Actions ripple out immediately, conflicts escalate quickly, and there's very little buffering between intention and the impact that it has. And so in this environment, the Aries mind will feel overwhelmed and absolutely threatened. The absence of clear hierarchies and singular authority will feel destabilizing. The instinct to seize control of the systems, the narratives, or the technologies in order to restore a sense of dominance. But Aquarius will not reward force. It exposes it. Attempts at control fracture the networks instead of stabilizing them. And aggression multiplies rather than resolves. And so if we keep pulling this Aries energy from an age gone by into the age of Aquarius, this will be a loss of leverage. This will be strategies that no longer work. You will be in a state of constant reactivity, burnout, and escalating conflict that just moves too fast to be conquered. And so that's the consequence of living in older paradigms, staying stuck in structures that no longer work. And so when we speak about alignment and we speak about resonance, these words, they sound like words, but they have a deeper meaning, because it's taking us into a place where we're emotionally intelligent, emotionally involved, and we've put down that need to dominate one another. through the realization of Piscean energy, that we are all connected, that we are all one, that you are me and I'm you, what you do to another harms you, that kind of thing. When you use the networks and the amazing technology that's coming for us in the Age of Aquarius with that mindset, put your mind in the Age of Aquarius, then your power will emerge through alignment and intelligence, right? Awareness, responsibility, conscious participation. You'll be attuned to that rapid feedback. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we were all a little bit more telepathic in the Age of Aquarius, because some of those abilities are coming through now. So one last warning I'd like to leave you with in terms of these ages. If you've left Aries behind and you're in the age of Pisces and you are an empath and you fully surrendered to your gifts and suffering and feeling into what the other is about, and you're ready to move into the age of Pisces, make sure you let go of this mentality of Pisces, because here's another thing I just imagined. What would it be like if you brought the mentality of the age of Pisces, let alone the age of Aries, but bringing Pisces into the age of Aquarius, what that might look like. Now, remember, this is just the mind. Our nervous system has already evolved into this. But if our mind stays here, then we get a very different sensation, but also very disoriented, right? Pisces is going to be merging, surrender, and trust. And Aquarius is quick. It's multiplicitous. It's constant signal. And the impulse to dissolve into a greater whole encounters an environment that demands you discern things very quickly. And so you can't spend too much time feeling into things, or you're going to be overwhelmed. Information is going to arrive so quickly that meaning has to be integrated quickly. And the emotional sensitivity is going to meet restless stimulation if we don't figure out how to come to an emotional intelligence. And part of that's internal boundaries. The Piscean mind drifts and tries to find out, where it's broken. It disassociates, it merges indiscriminately. Ideas, technologies that promise belonging or resonance. The unity is sought for, but the coherence hasn't quite established yet. So Pisces energy must learn something new. And this is what we're all here to do. That compassion without discernment becomes vulnerability. And surrender without grounding becomes the loss of the self. So what Pisces feels most acutely in Aquarius is the need to stay present without dissolving and to participate without disappearing. Okay, so the invitation to graduate from the age of Pisces is to find that emotional maturity, find that level of so that you can stay connected to the network, so that you can process information at a much higher speed and be connected to these networks. And so that is my presentation on the ages. I think this is a big deal. I'm going to put this in context too with why I think it's important, why I think we're still disconnected, because I think there's a lot of this Aries energy still going on. I think there's a lot of that going around. All right, there we go. Okay. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Yes, please. Thank you so much. All right. Yes. Join the channel. Join the channel, please. If you enjoy this work, you guys get exclusive videos and first look videos, as well as the monthly Zoom call and 13% off a Gateway 1 reading. Here's the link to the Sumerian Astrology podcast. And then we have Heather Bridge to Spirit is here. Hello, Heather. Nice to see you. All right, cool. Good. Well, I don't see a whole lot of comments, so you guys must be mesmerized by what I'm talking about. That's cool. Yeah, no. And so here's where it's really, really impactful. Here's why we want to talk about these zodiacal ages. Because if the assignment of the zodiacal age is based on the astronomy, which means that wherever the sun is on the vernal equinox, Okay. I guess spring equinox in the northern hemisphere and fall equinox in the southern hemisphere. On that date, around March 21st, wherever the sun is the actual age that you're in. And it starts in spring. So that's easy to understand, right? And when we look at our actual sky, we see that. Even Vedic astrology has come along, and they put their first, they put Pisces with March 21st. The difference is that their signs are still 30 days in length, which is fine. And there's a lot of value in Vedic astrology. I love the way they work with the houses and the way they turn the dial. But when we're talking about bringing astronomy and astrology together, like taking the ancient meanings, we've got to get our act together. We have got to get out of the Aries is the first day of spring, because it's not, because the first day of spring gives us our zodiacal age. And so that chart, that system is stuck in Aries. And so that dissonance that you feel, and why does it matter? I mean, who cares what astrology you use, right? If it works, it works. I mean, I'm of the mind that sure, if something works for you, you don't have to necessarily break it. But at the same time, isn't it interesting that tropical astrology is so popular? It's one of the things that, amaze and astound people throughout the ages, throughout the centuries. People have always used it. It's always been kind of on the fringe, coming in and out of our collective awareness and being used for fun, for good, for study, for predictions, for horoscopes and things like that. It really does describe our hero's journey that we see on television, in ads, in movies, and how we talk to each other and how we behave at work and how we behave in our relationships. It's all predicated on this journey that starts in Aries. And it doesn't anymore. It starts in Pisces now. And soon, well, maybe not soon in our lifetime, but soon from a cosmological sense, it will be the age of Aquarius. And the age is marked by where the sun is at springtime. So we are not in the age of Aries. We're not there anymore. We need to let go of all of those Aryan ideals and beliefs, the blind faith that something works because we were told that that's how it works. So that's my thoughts on it. I think you guys get my meaning. What I'd like to do real quick is take you on a journey through the sky. We're going to do a little precession exercise, and maybe this will spark some inspiration. Let me share my screen. What I've done here is pulled up Stellarium, and I've gone all the way to year 3, basically to the beginning of the Common Era. And as you can see, the sun is here in Pisces, and this is the vernal equinox. So this is the beginning of the age of Pisces. And if we take this year right here and we just put our foot on the gas and just hold it, it's going to go very fast through the future. And what you'll notice is that on this exact date, as we move through time, this moment in time moves along the zodiac ecliptic like so. And what I'm endeavoring to do is to actually find the year when we move into the age of Aquarius, so that we have that once and for all, and we don't have to believe what anybody else says. We can see it with our own eyes. And again, these are calculated predictions based on mathematics and astronomical observations. So let's go. Let's see it. So I'm going to try to just keep this on the sun. And what will happen is the whole sky is going to spin around. But what I want you to notice is its journey this way. So let's keep going. So you can see that every March 21st, about every 72 years, the sun moves a little bit towards Aquarius. Where are we now? We're now at year 500, 700. This is kind of right around when people started writing about astrology and documenting the positions of planets and suns, to at least what we have today. So it's very interesting that, but even back then they were slipping away from Aries being that first house, being the beginning of spring. And now we're kind of getting into the modern era. This is around the medieval times. And you see how the sun has just moved. It was all the way over here on March 22nd. And now it's almost halfway through. And so we're just going to keep going. We're getting into the 1300s, 1400s, 1500s, the Renaissance, Galileo. We started looking at space again. The New Age revolution happened right around here with all those new thought leaders and authors. But yet we still war. We still fight. We still shed blood. It's just something we never let go of, because I think we were misinterpreting our sky all this time. And if we're truly here at the end of the age of Pisces, guys, we have to really start letting go of these Aryan ways, right? Not just war and fighting and dominance and, putting people in an A bucket or a B bucket. It's complicated. There's nuance. There's no judgment that should be spread by listening to anyone's argument. You should be judging exactly what's in front of your face, and not because of what somebody told you. You should question everything. That's the mark of an Aquarian mind. So let's keep going. Let's see when this sun on March 22nd will be in the age of Aquarius. Let's see how far away that is. It's dawning. It sure is, but we're not there yet. Let's see. It's slow. It's slow. This is why we have to watch the sky and transmit that knowledge to our younger generation and make them interested in space and the sky. Who knows where we'll be by then? Look at that. I mean, you could say this is 800 years away if you were looking at space. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we're already in the age of Aquarius? I know that there is, let's go to right now. Let's go to right now to March coming this year and see what's actually happening for us. I'm going to put the ground back in. We're going to go to dawn. We're going to look at what's happening. So let me put the landscape back in, and we're going to go to sunrise. So as the sun is rising on March 21st of 2026, we see the heliacal rising of Aquarius. And some would say that this side of the chart, when you actually look at a birth chart, what we're looking at on the horizon is this energy, the 12th house energy. And most astrologers feel like this is the strongest energy. So in other words, if you actually have a Mars right here in your chart, in your 12th house, you might be very, very athletic. It's not your typical 12th house, at least the closer it gets to the ascendant. And so that may be why we're feeling a lot of really, really Aquarian vibes right now. When we look to the sky, though, the actual rising sign is Pisces. So we still have some years to go. But like anything, it's a wave. It's not a here's the door to Aquarius and you walk in and you go into it. It's a cycle of time. And so the peak of the Aquarian age was probably about 1,000 years ago, and we are coming to the end of it. And the peak of the Pisces age, and the peak of the Aquarius age will be well into the year 3000, if we're even still following that calendar. I'm not sure. So this is why I think it's really important for us to actually use real sky astrology, you guys, because I'm going to actually show you what the difference is. This is Athen Commenti's new software, TrueSky.masteringthezodiac.com. It's a great little software. If you're learning astrology, you can go in here and click on these things, and it'll give you a very textbook answer of what's going on in here in terms of Chiron and Pisces and Chiron in the 7th. And then if you click in the middle, you get this aspectarian. You can click on the aspect and it can give you what Mars square to Neptune feels like. So that's what we're doing right now. Mars square to Neptune creates friction between action and confusion, drive and illusion. So you can read it just like that. And it's very, very useful, especially if you're learning astrology. So I love this. Let's do this. Let's change what this looks like. This is fun. We can go into settings. And I am going to change the zodiac from the midpoint true sidereal to tropical. I know, guys, I'm sorry for those of you that love true sky. This is for demonstration purposes only. when we go to spring using tropical, let's go to 2026. And we'll go to sunrise. Let me just move the hour forward. Look at that. The sun is in Aries, you see? Or 1 degree. Well, let's do one more day. I think because spring is actually probably like the 22nd. There you go. There's the rising sun in Aries. So do you see a problem with identifying with these zodiacal ages while still using a system like this? It's just maybe another proof, maybe another way to take in the idea of going back to the actual sky. Because if you're using this Aryan system, then you are bleeding this energy into this, right? And you definitely can't bring this into the age of Aquarius. I'm not sure how far in advance we can go to when that happens. We can try to, but anyways, you guys get my meaning, right? So that is what it will look like. But if we go back to the real sky settings and we go to from tropical to true sky midpoint and save settings and go back, and we see the sun is in Pisces and on its way to Aquarius. It's been centuries. It's been millennia since it was over here. This age is long gone. We've already peaked and left it. And we're bringing it through this entire age. And we're not abandoning it before we get to the age of Aquarius. I don't know. To me, it seems a little crazy. You know, I'd like to enter the age of Aquarius where my nervous system and my mental faculties are, you know, aligned. I'd like my nervous system and my mental faculties in Pisces to be aligned. You know, I'd like to be able to show compassion and vulnerability without fear of being dominated or brutalized, right? You guys get my meaning. So what do you say we see what you guys are talking about? Oh, we have a visitor, you guys. Oh, no, it's my share screen. So we'll take that off. Let's go into the chat again. Shakti Veda, you make a very good point. Those fixed stars play a big role in supporting the blueprint for our natal chart. Yeah, fixed stars within, the actual constellations. It's absolutely true. So true. Well, Shakti, you may be one of those people that is ushering in the age of Aquarius, just like the visionaries from the age of, you know, the beginning of the age of Pisces were saying things that no one's ever heard before. I mean, that's probably why Christ had to speak in parables, because nobody would understand him saying to them, you are the Christ. What you do to me, you do to yourself, and, you know, love one another, love God, all of that. That was foreign. That was new. That was way ahead of its time back at the end of the Age of Aries. And so you might be one of those folks that has that sort of message for us here in the Age of Pisces at the end of it. I agree, Lori. I think everyone should learn astrology for themselves, 100%. Working on the energy of the stars to integrate everything. It helps. It helps. You have to be a little bit obsessed with it. Uh-oh. You guys, we have a visitor here on the channel. Let's let Mr. Logan come on in. Hi, Logan.
What's happening?
We're live.
All right, cool, man. Did I come at a good time?
Absolutely. I just finished talking about the age of Aries.
I was kind of listening to you in the background.
And Aquarius, yeah. And my whole thing was the tropical chart, the tropical astrology. It gives you its birthday. It was born at the end of the age of Aries, the beginning of the age of Pisces, right? And if we're going to move out of the age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius, we need to let go of the Aryan themes. And we still haven't done that, right? We still war, we still dominate, we still cause bloodshed and beat each other up. And, you know, there's black and white and red and blue and, left and right and all of this, which is still a very Aryan energy.
Yep.
And I don't think we're going to be able to move into the Age of Aquarius very comfortably if we can't even let go of some of those Aryan things. And to me, the tropical chart just seemed like one of those things, that we were dealing with. So I talked about that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we've talked about this on our community, and I don't think we ever lose the area. I still think there's Taurian traits played out. Every past age still kind of moves into the next stage. I mean, that's why we still have war. You have war in Pisces. That's not a Piscean trait. It's an Aries trait. So I think we're still seeing a mixture of these astrological ages as we move into the next one. Yeah. So that's kind of how I read it. I mean, I was listening to you and you were saying that, you were going through the ages, and I've done this on the Stellarium where you go fast forward into several hundred years into the future. And I think, if you go and strictly do it by the sun being officially in Aquarius, I think it's around 2800 or something.
That's what we just did. Yep.
Yeah. But I just don't see WWW and the VR headsets that those are not Piscean inventions. So I think that it's just a little bit more complicated than that to officially say, well, the sun has to be in Aquarius on the spring equinox to officially call it the Age of Aquarius. But I guess that comes down to an opinion, and it is debatable, but I just don't see the internet and computers and the technology being, coming out, a Piscean invention. Do you see it a Piscean invention?
Well, I wonder if it isn't the heliacal position of these constellations. You know what I mean? Where, and I was just showing this on Stellarium, where if you look in the eastern sky on sunrise, on the spring equinox, before you see the sun, you see Aquarius. Right? So you see the dawning, the light, a little bit of light, and then there's Aquarius in all of its glory, and you can't even really see the Pisces constellation. Right. So it could be that the heliacal rising is the true dawning of that particular age, which would make sense to me. There's a book out there, I cannot remember the name of it, and I don't have it near me, where they did a study on Mars, people with Mars energy in the 12th house, and more than could be, considered like random. These people were very strong. They were physically active. They were fit. They were like in the military. They were high performance athletes. And it was in that position, that heliacal position. So there's something to that.
For sure. I mean, what did it for me is when I went to LA, maybe like 6 months ago, and I got into one of those self-driving cars for the first time. And I took a little trip down 3rd Street or whatever street I was on in LA through Beverly Hills. And it was, it was a very surreal, like, wow, this is really happening. And it talks to you and picks you up in a specific location, and it's very case specific. And again, I don't think that's a Piscean, kind of trait. I think that's more totally Aquarian, where, you're relying on something to navigate you through life, where, like if you're in a self-driving car now, you can get a lot more work done. You can be much more safer. I mean, this car, I don't know if have you ever been in one?
No, I have not. I am in the market. I'll be in the market for a new car probably in maybe another year. So yeah, I don't know. That could be cool.
Yeah, no, it's very, right now it's like very cautious when you drive in the car. It's very, it yields a lot and it stops, make sure that it doesn't go a certain way. And so it's very, very protective of its boundaries because it's got cameras all the way around the car. I would imagine that'll improve in the future. But I mean, I remember this being in Total Recall 1985 or 6 with Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Johnny Taxi. And, these are all these science fiction movies that were like, oh my God, I can't wait for that to happen. And, I can't wait to talk to somebody on the cell phone face to face. Like it's here, it's been here for some time now. And we've talked about this, like what's the next stage of evolution for this thing right here? Because I can't.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the implant. Can I tell you why? Because these things keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And my little tiny one just broke. And so now I've got the dummy cord so I don't lose it because it doesn't fit in any of my pockets. And so I can't do watches with my job. And so I'm like, sign me up, put it in there, whatever I can do to like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still
So,
holding on to a 2019 phone because of the size, one of the smaller phones, the Samsung.
right.
It's a 2019 model. Yeah. I don't like the big ones myself, so I totally get it. But yeah, I mean, that's the next day, and that could be the mark that the theology talks about. You know.
Yeah. And I wonder, if in the last 200 years that mental awakening that's been going on, the precursor to the Age of Aquarius, these fantastical and futuristic stories that are being channeled by the collective and by creators, if that's that first glimpse of the Age of Aquarius. Beam me up, Scotty, teleportation, limitless energy, being emotionally intelligent and,
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. It's worth talking about that stuff. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
wish that they would. I wish that they would perfect the teleportation. You know what they didn't. You know what they didn't do in Star Trek that surprised me when they were using this technology. They would always have the pregnant woman on, right? She would always go into labor. Oh my God! They never beam the baby out.
Mm,
Like they just put her in surgery.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that would be a great decode do decoding Gene Roddenberry,
Hmm.
because he was obviously tapped into something that things are coming true now based upon what he was talking about or showing in the show. So
Oh
you're talking about
yeah.
the older Star Trek, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool to take a bunch of those visionaries and see how they're connected numerologically and alchemically to the Age of Aquarius, the concept of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Uh, for,
cool.
for
That'd be very
sure.
cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Yep.
right. Everybody's really excited that you showed up. Everyone's
Oh,
like,
that's
Logan!
I'm happy to be here, and thank you for the invite. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it, but I was like, oh, let me jump on for a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you're welcome. I appreciate you having me here. So, um, what else did you what else were you talking about? I mean, you have a
But it
really good
was
topic, a loaded topic here. So,
Yeah, well, it was a teaching. The point was, this feels like another proof to let go of tropical astrology because of its birthday being in Aries. And not in a like a battlefield or a dominating kind of way. It's served its purpose, right? It's held
yeah,
the record of these subconscious archetypes through the centuries. When looking at the sky and looking through a telescope and being scientific was punished,
yeah,
and for it to go underground, that was perfect. For it to become, in that little grid that you could just put in your pocket or scribble it in the sand and cover it up, that was perfect.
mhm.
But now there's no excuse, right? We can see what's happening. We can open the window and look up. I mean, you showed several pictures on your website. You use Taurus as the example a lot whenever there's a Taurus moon because the Pleiades, it's so obvious. Like there it is.
I was out there last night, taking the dog for a walk, and there was Zeus again, right there, shining in Gemini, right above me, me again. Of course, we know it's in retrograde right now, so it's going to be there for a minute, but it's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm north of the equator, so I'm pretty low on the standard of being it right above me. So it will change depending on your the latitude. But I mean, we've done it a million different times, man. I mean, I've real images of the sky and
Mhm.
documented those, and people still give me heat for it, man. It's really, and I get it, man, because you don't want to let go of the tropical system. And I tell people, and you've done the spotlight course, but the true sidereal, the Athens one, it incorporates tropical in there. The 12 houses, that's tropical in the
Right.
middle. So it doesn't shit can it. It keeps the tropical
Mm-mm.
system because it's like right now, if you're in the Tropic of Cancer, right, it's your coming in your wintertime. So what season of tropical is it? It's cold, contraction, wintertime. If you're living in Sydney, Australia, it's your expansion in summertime.
Mhm.
So this is the yin year. That's the base and the whole fundamental of tropical astrology. The beauty of it really is the season, spring, summer, fall, and winter.
It's the cycle. Yeah.
That's what I love about it. The cycles and apply them to what season you're in life. If you take an average life years, 85 years, and you break that into 4 segments, you're going to have your springtime, from what, 0 to 20, summertime, 20 to 40, fall time, 40 to 60, and wintertime, 60 to 80. And it's a really cool way to look because, like, I'm in my fall season. It's a much different way to look at your astrological chart than when I was in my summertime, because when you start to implement all the summertime activities in your astrological chart, it's way different than in your wintertime or your fall time. It's way different. And so that's the beauty, again, with those quadrants of 4 and view of that whole system. So I mean, I appreciate it. It's just not reading the celestial positions.
Right. And I hear a lot too that tropical is still accurate. I still get a good reading, and
Yep.
it's because they're still so. I mean, they are similar. Like if you're looking at a full moon's a full moon. It's an sun moon opposition in every system,
Yep.
and it's the same thing. If you have a trine to Jupiter and Saturn, it's a trine that doesn't go anywhere. It also doesn't change in your house either. So if you've got Saturn in your second. In tropical, you have Saturn in your second in true sky. What changes is the backdrop, right? The map behind it.
Yep.
And the question is, does that map make a difference? Does that map actually give you the influence? Because if it does, and I think it does, but if it doesn't, you can be somewhat accurate with aspects and houses and the planetary alignments,
Yep.
but you can be accurate and precise if you use the sky.
Yep.
And I've seen both. I've had my chart read with both. And the real sky is, I mean, yes, tropical is a little bit accurate, but true sky is precise. And so why do we care? Why do we care if it's precise? Well, I think you and I can both agree that if you know what you're working with, then you're going to flow with life much better.
Yeah. I mean, I get asked this question a lot by people, like, why can't I just use both? You can, but why would you want to use two systems, one of them being precise and the other one be, I like to use the radio dial. Remember the old radio dials? You spin the knob and the line goes across and it's,
Yes.
And then when you get on your channel, it's like this crystal clear, like my voice is coming in. That's true sidereal. If you get a little bit into the tropical, it's where it's kind of fuzzy. So it's still going to give you some kind of accuracy, but it's going to be a little bit fuzzy, right? And that's why I tell people, if you ask my opinion, scrap tropical altogether. Don't even mess with it because it's a lot of dissonance to it. It's not precise. So why would you? Because I hear a lot of people say, well, I just look at all of them. Why would you do that? I mean, you can look at them, but where's your truth embedded? You're gonna commingle the two together and say, yeah, but because I see a lot of people saying, well, in this system I'm here, and in that system I'm here. That's totally great, but what sun are you? Where is your official placement for your sun? Where is your expansion? What's your love signature? It can't be in two places at one time. Is it going to be the true sidereal or is it going to be the tropical? My suggestion is axe one of them and move into the system that you favor the most. So if it is tropical, then it's not my life that has to live through that. So whatever it is that you want to be, but I'm not a fan of it, and that's because I like precision, which I know you do too.
Yeah, and there's don't get me wrong, don't get us. There's some wonderful tropical astrologers out there that are so good. And the thing is if you sit down and talk with them, they might even tell you that they'll say that the flavor of their signs have changed just by the experience of doing readings and getting feedback.
Yep.
Because that's what a good astrologer does. But if you're using the real sky, you don't have to do that. Like, it's already accurate. You don't have to learn the nuances and do all the tricks and twist over your elbow to get to your butthole. You don't have to do any of that. Like, you can just say, like, the Zeus is there in Sag. It means this, and it's a very comfortable Zeus. So. Yeah. So I think that the ancient meanings, right? So when Aries was Aries, it's still Aries, but that space in the sky in tropical is not tropical, it's Pisces. And so the people that are told that they are Aries will feel more Pisces, and the people that are told they're Taurus will be more Aries. You see? So that's the dissonance that we're talking about. Right?
Yep. Well, there's crossovers in both systems, because that's why people say, yeah, but let me look at your whole chart and do the interpretation of it. You're probably going to have some crossovers. There's going to be the lords of each houses, so that's going to play a factor in that. Like, people don't, the advanced astrology for me and for, is, where are your lords located? If you have your sun in Pisces, Well, who's the Lord of Pisces? Well, and Poseidon. You got to look at both of those, and you got to locate where they're at, and that what house they're in is going to impact your sun position in Pisces. It's gonna tailor it around that, and that's advanced. But that's what you have to start looking at are the lords, and that is where you get the true interpretations from, and that's where you may get crossover from.
Yeah. That's actually the easier part of it. You know what falls apart for a lot of people when they're learning is the aspects.
Hmm.
Because I've seen students do a wonderful job with the Lord, because that's the first thing I teach when we do it. It's like this planet and this constellation, they are joined at the hip, they're together. So when you see them separate in the chart, you can use their energy all over the chart. And they do a really good job with interpreting. And then they see, you know, that this is square to that, and this is trying to this, and this is an opposition. And then they're like, I don't know what to say now.
Right.
But you're right. You probably don't even need that. If you want to do a good, accurate, like 30-minute reading for somebody, if you just know the sign, the house, and the planet and the ruler, you're good. And then the chart will start to talk to you and tell you the story of the person.
Yep.
It's amazing.
I mean, I love, you know, like we try to really push on the personalities of each planet. And, you know, like, I think, you know, the moon is like, I can tell like anybody how you handle your emotions, and that's where your moon's at. And I can tell you where your payoffs are with your moon position, because that's where your dopamine starts to rise and your serotonin, all your feel good principles.
Okay.
And then I know how you're going to love somebody with your Venus position. And that's the challenge that people have in relationships, is that they normally push their love signature on their partner, and their partner doesn't have that same love signature. So when the wheels fall off from the honeymoon stage, and it always does, it doesn't last forever, that's an impossibility, you're left with no toleration. And then you're like, you know, man, the fun's kind of worn off. Now I want to be loved. How they're not giving me that.
Right.
Well, that's because they're forcing their love signature on you, and they're unconscious about it. So that's the value in obviously the Venus position and the love signatures. And I think that is, especially children, like, how are your kids going to love you as a parent? Well, look at their and who is the Lord of the house that it's in, and you're going to get a really good idea of how they're going to love you. You know, so it's important as a mother or father with your children, even your pets.
Yep.
Even your pets
Yeah,
love
true too.
signatures and how they handle their emotions. Absolutely, it's going to be a little different for a furry perspective, but there's still going to be layers to that with the pets. And I find that, like, I've done a few pets, and it's really magnificent when you focus on what their personalities are, and you can see it, man. You can see it if you pay attention. You know, it gets a little bit more clear as you go through the system with yourself and understand who you are. And then the more you study your partner and your exes or your sister or brother or whatever, it gets easier with the pet, because then you can kind of really start to filter things out. And have you done that? I'm sure you have. You
know what? I don't know Ladybug's birthday, I don't think.
Ladybug. Wow, that's an interesting name.
I don't know her. Yeah, she's a little beagle. She's a little sweetheart. She's right over here. She was born in March of, I want to say 2013, because we got her in May, and she was about 10 weeks old, and it was Memorial Weekend. So yeah, she was probably definitely born in, well, it might have been April.
Well, the best system to use for pets, if you don't have a birth time, is the true sidereal human design. That's the best system to use. It doesn't go by time frames. It doesn't go by your rising sign. It goes by the gates and the alchemical elements. So even if you don't know your birth time, it doesn't matter. That's why I love that system, because a lot of some people don't know their birth time.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is definitely a tough one.
It is.
What I love about what you're doing, especially with the Spotlight course, is the use of AI. Like you just streamlined it. You've saved people thousands of dollars. Like, they don't need to seek out a high-paying astrologer to get a reading if they don't want to. You kind of shown them, here's the questions that you ask it, as if you were asking an astrologer.
Right.
Do you find that it gives you the same answer every time?
No. I mean, you could ask it
the
same question over and over, and it's just going to spit out different information, but it'll be similar. But it's right now, just before I came on a little bit ago, I went to ChatGPT, not my account. I went to a brand new web browser because I didn't want to interfere with what I've been uploading, and it knows me. And I'm testing it right now. It's like in beta stage on. I have this true nature calendar, and the card system, and I'm beta testing it right now. I did it with myself. I did it with Donald Trump. I did it with my mother, my father. I've done it with a few friends of mine that I know, and I think out of all but the people that I tested, the true nature, maybe all but one. I think one person, the Gregorian, was the one that was the higher percentage, but it was the true nature calendar based upon the 13,
solar.
the solar, and starting on, and you got to go. The finicky thing is you need to look up what your spring equinox date was for your birth year. For me, 1973, it was March 20th. Some of you may be March 21st, and it's going to offset the card a little bit. So the 19th is the other one. So, and if you're born in Australia, it's going to be September 22nd or 23rd. That's your first of your year. It's not March. So it's going to be a little bit an interesting twist. But like for me, were mind blowing when I switched the card and the cards, my spirit and my earth card, and true nature calendar. So I'm pretty excited about this. So it's in beta testing right now. Yeah.
Okay. So what changed for you? What's your birth card? It was
my Gregorian birth card is the Eight of Spades. My Eight of Spades is my earth card, and the King of Clubs is my sun card. In this true nature, I become the Ten of Clubs and the Jack of Spades. Ten of Clubs being my earth card, which, Capricorn, my Mercury's in Capricorn. So like the 10, the 10 of clubs fits that Capricorn, and the percentages, it was like 88% versus like 45% on the Gregorian on those two cards in the true nature. And that's what AI pumped out for me with no bias. I didn't give it anything other than what I do for a living and what I fancy and all that kind of stuff. Cause it does rely on that. You have to tell it, what your profession is, what you do, what you like, what your characteristics are. The more you tell it, the better it understands the placements and the two cards or the four cards that are in question, Gregorian versus true nature. So it's a game changer. And you did the Spotlight course, so you're qualified to I'm actually doing some
I'll experiment. I'll beta test.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably do probably just get probably do a live if I can with people. If not, if you can't make it, then I'll give you the templates to just copy and paste and put into AI, and it'll just need me. And I'm curious to see what yours will be, what yours changes to, and how accurate.
Yeah, because I'm 9 of diamonds, queen of diamonds, I think.
Okay. Well, no, you're 9 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds. No. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, 9 of diamonds. 9 of diamonds, queen of, you're queen of, I'm going by the spirit card first. Yeah, you're right. But depending on your birth year and all that stuff, let me look you up real quick. If you want me to do this on the fly.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
What year were you born?
74.
Oh yeah, so you're March 20th like me. Okay, and then give me your birthday again. What day?
August 4th.
August 4th, that's right. So you changed to the 8 of Hearts, which is the power of love card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 8 of Hearts, and the Queen of Diamonds is your spirit card.
So I got Queen of Diamonds twice? Oh, wow.
Got Queen of Diamonds twice, yeah. Yeah, so...
so it doesn't matter where I start.
Right. What's fascinating is Trump has the same exact cards, 8 of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, in the true nature system. He's obviously 3 of Diamonds, 6 of Hearts in the Gregorian. But I asked AI, I didn't tell it who it was. I gave the parameters, and it was like 89% true cards, the 8 of Hearts and Queen of Diamonds versus the 3 of Diamonds, 6 of Hearts. So
that's so interesting.
Yeah. So this is a complete like 180. Oh my God, what I am? Because a lot of people are gonna say, what I am I? You're a mixture. You're an onion, man. So
yeah. So the cards are more aligned with the seasons and starting at the first day of spring on either
Well,
hemisphere?
yeah, and the thing is that in the Gregorian, see the system we've been using that I learned from is the French system, because that's what the cards are. The clubs, the diamonds, hearts, and spades. That's a French invention, and then the Gregorian calendar, obviously 1540. That's a church invention. So you literally have, and why would you start New Year's for every January 1st when on January 1st in Australia it's summertime and you're partying and taking your clothes off and getting tans, and so it's the variance is so much better when you move it into the true New Year, and that's for the Southern Hemisphere is September 22nd or 23rd, depending on what year you were born, right? So these are important integral parts of getting it right, and then on the New Year, on that the same with you. So I'm not looking at January 1st as like, oh, it's the New Year. No, what
No,
I'm trying to do is not
not
pay
even close, not even energetically close.
close, not energetically close. So I'm not trying to pay attention to it because I want to be in line with your calendar. I don't want to be in line with a calendar it's a system of magic and it works, but I don't want to be in line with that anymore because I'm finding this true nature system with the cards. And the percentages are higher. AI has supported it, not by any biasy at all. It's just simply telling it who I am, other than the characteristics in me. So I've already proven it to myself. I'm really interested to see and how you're going to resonate with yours. And I think if enough people get on board with the true nature calendar and then the card system, it's going to get reformatted, because what we do is we start with the what I did was I went back to the tarot, which I was saying for so long, no, it's the cards that came first. No, actually, it was invented in China, and then it came from there. It went to Egypt, and then Egypt it became infiltrations, and then it became the card system. So what I did was I based this new system, the true nature, on the lineup of the playing cards, where it's not hearts first, it's clubs first, because it's wands first in the tarot, right? And that represents fire. And then the next suit is the spade suit, which is air, fire and air. And then the heart suit is water. And then the diamond materialism. So that's the new true nature lineup. And we orchestrated that around the calendar, and it depends on your spring equinox birth year. That's going to be a big dependent on where the ace of clubs starts. So the jack of spades does not start the system like they've done with the Gregorian. It's the ace of clubs. That's the card number one for everybody's year. Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Logan is a modern magician. Okay,
Well,
this guy has dedicated his life to
yeah.
trying to figure out how things work and how people work. Because I think you, like us, like me, and many of these people here, you sense why are you so disconnected from yourself? Why don't why is some people's lives so beautiful and flowing and amazing, and other people are just fraught with catastrophe, and are you meant to do that, or are you resisting your natural path? Like those questions always come up, and the system that you've created is really, really quite stunning. So you've taken human design, and but you've used the tropical, or the constellational system, as well as the I Ching, and you've added the alchemical gates to it as well. Like you added alchemy into the gates.
Yep.
That's yeah.
Yep. That's nature. Like I have another book coming out, Cosmic Forensics, right? That's my next book. I'm working on it right now. We're in this writing mode right now. All these connections, and of course AI is helping me write all this stuff because it's so much easier to do that, right? And it's
100%.
really good at condensing and connecting. So you come up with the ideas, you input it, and it starts to connect, and it keeps track of everything. So it's amazing with that. Pattern recognition in nature is wild, and it's very simple. Like we've been talking about on this channel on Decode Your Reality. Chinese zodiac sign number one is the rat. So that's Aries, because Aries is number one. That's what nature does. It aligns everything. One is matched up to number one. I don't care if Chinese starts in February normally and Gregorian starts. It doesn't matter, right? we know that the dragon is the sun. The fifth sign of Chinese is the sun, and that's the dragon. We know the dog is Aquarius, man's best friend. The only man on the zodiac is Aquarius. So those are easy connections. But it's when you start to bring the periodic table into the numerology and mathematics, and you're gonna like this. We have the golden ratio in there, and it is freaking mind-blowing with gold, especially the element gold. 79 protons, 79 electrons, 118 neutrons, and we just showed that the word Christos is 118. So it's tied to the neutrons of gold. So it's the nature is just connects, and chemistry is a big proponent of this book and for the thesis of this stuff. Not trying to prove anything, but distractions, and it's just, oh my God, I'm in pure heaven, man. It's bliss.
That's great.
Seeing these connections, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, you're kind of the extreme version of somebody who's getting synchronicities once in a while, right? Like you finally start connecting things and like, oh my God, that happened, and it's just such a joyful thing. And the more you try to tell people about your synchronicities, the more they look at you like you're crazy. But you've taken it to a whole nother level, like where you show where the synchronicities come from. Like not just, oh, that happened, but like, this is the underlying matrix. This is what's happening here. So if you're on because I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at something, sometimes you hit dead ends. Like it doesn't always light up. So it's not like you can make these connections happen. Things just sometimes they don't go there. And then you find something, it's like ding, 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 ding. And you just follow this trail and it takes you, it's amazing. You're like, there's the synchronicity. That's exactly what it's like dissecting it right out of the ether. And I think that's so cool.
Well, thank you. And it's not me doing it. I don't take any credit for that, but I have a lot of help, right? And you're one of them, because when I showed you the Leo video, when you watched the Leo Decoded, you sent me a video and you sent me a verse in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 18, verses 3. And that was like fire, because it was about, in order to get into the kingdom of heaven, you got to be like a little child. What does that mean numerically? What does it mean cosmically? What does it mean through chemistry? Well, wouldn't you know it, that little idea that you put in the video set me off on this, and it wasn't a wild goose chase. It was a goose chase, but it led me to something profound. I shared it with my community last night. And so I have a lot of help, you've been helping, giving me little nuggets, little insights, and then people in the community, man, sometimes they'll just drop something in there, like, look what I found, and bammo. And I try to give people credit, if I remember, because there's so much coming in. But I do want to say thank you, because it was a monumental connection that you.
Oh, awesome.
You didn't even know, right? You weren't consciously, that's what came through.
Well, it's the 138. It aligns with Leo. You had barium as the gate. Barium's atomic mass is 138. So it's like, ding! It's like the alchemy piece was what put all that together. It was so cool.
And you have tungsten, which is 183. Isotope 183 is tungsten, and tungsten is the light pole. Yeah, and it's the big W, which is the sun. It's the crown that goes around the earth, and it's the crown that goes around the earth, and got 74 protons, and Jesus and Lucifer in the English numerology equals 74. So and our DNA is tied to the number 74. So it's unbecoming, and I have you to thank you for that with the child things. That was massive. Been looking for something like that.
Yep.
And you yesterday, you're like, here, just like, and you didn't even know.
That's why I couldn't just type that out. I was like, let me just tell you what's coming, because
it was great. I appreciate it, man. I watched the whole thing and I was like taking notes and like, oh my God, this is awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think you and I are thinking about doing this a little more regularly, maybe, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, right? You might as well spring it on people if you want to spring it on them. That's fine. Since it's your show, you can go ahead and explain it. You can dump it out if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it maybe it's as free form as this until things gel, but there's all kinds of topics that I'm sure we can explore. I've been really enjoying your forensics on the assassins and the murderers. Those are fun. All those cool connections that are coming together, and everybody loves the death stuff. So
we do, myself included, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I've done two forensic reports on. I did one with Charlie Kirk, and I did one. Mine was a much more low key. Like I didn't like advertise that it was about Charlie Kirk. I titled it Metempsychosis, which is the transmigration of souls, because we were talking about death, and I didn't want people just to come in there, for the clickbait. But I there is an astrology of death. Like you can actually, like I can go through some of it with you if you want to on maybe a
Sure.
future presentation. We can I can give you sort of the nuts and bolts of like what you look for in a death chart. um, I don't know if you know who Judith Hill is. She's a medical astrologer. She does tropical, but her
Okay.
data is still very good for the fertility stuff, and also for the death charts. They're both very good.
Well, yeah, tropical being 23 degrees forwards, you can predict the future. You can use that system because it's measure. If you just use that system, you can still measure it up and you can predict things with it. So it works, man. It works. It's just when you're trying to define your raw blueprint, it just fails. It doesn't
Yeah,
line
I,
up.
I
But to
think
predict future
I think that
dates, yeah,
mostly the medical astrology and the prediction, it comes from your houses, which don't change anyway, right? If you have something five
yep,
houses from your
yep,
thing or eight
yep,
houses from your
yep,
thing, it's going to have the
yep.
effect in either case. But like your eighth house, for example, for death astrology, that's like huge. If you've got a stacked eighth house, you're going to be confronted with a lot of death in your life. And what happens is it's not just one thing, right? So it's not just, oh, Pluto went over my south node. It's also an eclipse with Pluto in your south node, and then maybe Mars in a bad aspect. So you can add layers of all these. Here's the death column list, and if that stacks up and death happens at that time, you can explain it in retrospect. But you can't really predict death, I don't think. She never makes that claim either. It's just like when you're
Yeah,
analyzing it, you can kind of see where, what is common among death charts and the time of death, what aspects are common. So,
you can like if you use if you use the cards, you can predict how your year's going to go. I mean, but this is a Gregorian system, right? So now I'm having to rethink everything with this because yes, it's a system of magic, and yes, it's in the ether, and yes, it's in our consciousness. So and it's very, very, very accurate. But moving away into the true nature counter tool, something put it in the tool shed, not necessarily in the forefront of everything. But what's fascinating about astrology charts have you studied the kites in
mhm.
astrology? Those are, I mean, those are huge, huge,
Yeah, we've
huge.
we've been going through a lot of kite energy in the sky recently, with all that energy opposing Saturn and Neptune, and then Uranus and Pluto sextile to it. It's just beautiful. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And I mean, I was looking at some of these, like the serial killers, the 15-year-old kid that took a sledgehammer to his mother's head and beat her to death like 20 times. 15 years old, man. He's got a kite, and the kite points to Mars, man. So like these are important. And the big one. And if you want to pull the chart up, I won't give it away, but if you want to pull the chart up and share your screen, we can talk about it. Pull
All
up the
right.
chart. Pull your chart up. Pull the chart up to September 11th, 2001, 8:46
Oh,
a.m.
okay. Let's do it. September 11th, 2001. What time?
8:46 a.m.
New York. New York, New York. 8. Calculate. All right. I hear birds.
Yeah, I have this like Indian flute music on in the background. I'm not in my normal setup, obviously. I'm at a friend's house, and so I'm on my laptop, and I don't have my microphone, and so it's picking up probably the outside noise.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Why am I not seeing
I'm
it?
not in my I'm not in my usual I'm not in my usual space either.
See, that's interesting. That's not showing a kite. If you go to the regular masteringthezodiac.com, maybe because you have too many angles on, but if you go to the regular masteringthezodiac.com and you input go ahead, just go to the regular one if you don't mind.
Oh well. Here we go. 2001. Oops. 8:45. I remember that day. That was crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
Couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe how many times they played it over and over and over on the television.
Yeah.
It was traumatizing.
Very traumatizing.
Oh yeah, I see it. So we need to get Uranus
Yeah,
and
see, so
Venus
you
in
see, and
alignment.
what's yeah, see, so it doesn't show that. So when you go back to that chart, what's amazing about it? Are you going to get rid of some of that?
I'm gonna fix it. No, I'm gonna fix it. I think I just have to make the sextiles a little closer. That might do it. No, we can just go there. It's fine.
So you can see that kite right there, and the forced energy is in the that's the C position. That's Uranus. And what's mind blowing about this is that the card of the day, September 11th, is the King of Clubs, and the King of Clubs sits in the Uranus line.
Okay.
So the concentration of energy there, and the biggest one of them all, the biggest one, the biggest one is George W. Bush was at Booker T Elementary School in Florida with a school with a school filled of kids. You remember that? Do you ever?
I do. I remember that. Yeah, somebody came up and whispered in his ear, and he looked like he shit his pants or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what the kid? You know what? Just Google it. Go ahead and Google it, or go to
Okay.
YouTube and type it in.
So
Just go to YouTube.
They were singing. Okay, go to YouTube.
They were reciting words, which they were speaking spells. So if you just type in September 11th Children's Booker School, you should be able to find it.
Hold on. I see. I got this new cursor, and it's so big and clunky.
Oh, you can.
All right. Okay, so Booker
Elementary. You probably just type George Bush in there. Yeah, there you go. School 911. There you go. So go click on the first video there, probably. If you scroll down, it'll probably. I don't know. Maybe get out of that one. Try a different one. There's another one that'll tell you exactly what they were reciting. All right, that's it. Well, the big monumental moment to make this thing like a wow, jaw on the floor kind of thing. One of the words that the kids recited was kite.
Kite. Oh wow. Yep.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. And the other one was plane.
Yep.
And the other one was steel. And the other one was must. So there you go. Hit, kit, hit. So when you go and you look at the spells that they were speaking, and you go to the true sidereal, and you look at that chart, there's a clear.
There's a kite.
There's the kite.
Wow.
Yep. Now I don't know if they purposely are using mastering. They weren't mastering the zodiac. Wasn't even available.
No.
I don't know if this would even be in Vedic, or if it would be in a tropical system. But the eerie aspect of that is that the part of that day is the Uranus card, and that's space. That's A, B, C, and C, where that kite is directed, is where the Uranus energy was. In the fifth house as well. So it was a generation of massive amounts of energy using sacred geometry with astrology, and it's freaking mind blowing, man.
Yeah, it's amazing how much how many things are connected through the numerology. I always resisted numerology, but I knew I was a numberphile because I would do things like check the license plate numbers and see what they added to, like all the time. Times would always jump out at me. I see the number 137 everywhere.
Okay.
Well, not everywhere, but like on things that are important. That's how I know I'm going to do a good decode, because 137 comes up. It's the fine structure constant.
Yep.
It's amazing. And you're right. And no, the people that did 9/11 weren't there. They didn't know astrology. They didn't know about Athens website. It's just already there. It's like already
Already there,
coded.
man.
It's already connected.
Yep. Well, I mean, I would think that they have to. They must have known the kite had to be in an astrology system they were using. It had to have been, because you wouldn't have mentioned the kite specifically, because a kite is a sacred geometry space, a sacred geometry, and it is embedded into astrology. So again, we've shown it in the serial killer. Zachary Davis killed his mother with a sledgehammer. Also, Ronald Defoe, who was the Amityville Horror, he murdered his 6 family members. There was a kite in there as well. So, on patterns of these kites.
Now, guys, if you have a kite in your chart, it doesn't mean
you're going to kill anybody.
You're going to be a murderer. No.
No. But they're at the 4 points of that kite, and those are to be really kind of look at a deeper level. As
well,
another.
It's funny you say that. Well, because it's funny you say that. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that alignment is usually a trine energy, the grand trine, and that's always like it's supposed to be good, right? It's supposed to flow good. But what it can show is that if you've got 2 kind of heavy planets or heavy energy, it's going to flow really well.
Yep. Yep, and the grand trine makes up the divine triangle, right? The 216 345 divine triangle, which sits right on the top of the White House, man, in Washington D.C., because that is the makeup. You can take the Libra and it goes right over the top of Washington D.C., and that's when they broke the ground for the White House in the 1808.
Yeah, Rome didn't get conquered; it just moved. And I absolutely believe that city, that the Washington D.C. was designed by enlightened architects. Let's put it that way. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, the latitude longitude says 38 north, 77 longitude. So that says a lot as well. And you can do you know your latitude longitude coordinates where you were born?
I know where I was born, but I don't know the latitude, longitude. I guess I can look it up.
Yeah, just look at it.
Pinehurst, North Carolina.
Amherst?
Pinehurst.
Oh, Pinehurst.
Yeah, Pinehurst.
Let's see where you are. This is this is advanced, but let's see, 35, 79. So
yeah, that sounds
you have 35 and 79. Yeah. So why this is important, and this is for everybody, right? Well, using this as the base fundamental, you can go look up Hollywood, California, right? Well, what is latitude, longitude? 34 and 118, right? Well, what is 34? What element is 34? Selenium, which is the moon. And Hollywood uses the false light, the artificial light, which is the moon, because the moon doesn't give off any of its own light. And then the 118 is tied to Zeus, on the last element. So for you, you have 35. That's either going to be chlorine or bromine, and then 79, which is either gold or bromine. 79 will be bromine. Yeah, so you have a lot of that's simulation. 35 is simulation numerology.
So I think bromine boils at 137.8 or something like that.
Oh, does it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see. That'd be really awesome if you remembered that. No, not that one. Maybe it was Krypton.
Bromine, yeah, it's got a boil or a melting point, boiler or melting point. 137.
137. You're right. Yeah, 137 Fahrenheit. You're right. Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, these are all code layers, man. I love it that you observing all this. It's pretty awesome.
My favorite cipher is by far and away the Phi cipher.
When you man. It was built for you.
Yeah. When you do the planets, it's like it just clicks. The dates click with it. I actually, while I have you, I should ask you some questions about your cipher website, because I have questions about the different ones that are there. Like, why would you use them for this? Yeah, is it okay if I show
sure,
your
go ahead. Yeah, of course.
website, Dakota? Okay, cool.
I'm working on
This is like
redoing it too. I'm got a web developer that's going to make it better because it's got a little bit of things in it that needs to get tweaked. See, like this right here is jacked up because this is on WordPress and
so this is like one of my good friends over here when I start thinking about stuff. So we have all these different ciphers in here, and I'm wondering if you could just kind of like, I mean, I've looked through them. I don't know when I would use like the sun and moon, for example, and
yep,
like where I always try to look at the pattern too, like where does that come from, you know? And some of
yep.
them I can't figure out. So are these ciphers that you've come across over your work that you're very, very familiar with? Or are you familiar with all of these?
Are some that I don't use. I mean, when I built this, it was built on a platform that was open source, and I had somebody build it, and then I just, I can do a little bit of coding in the back end. So a lot of the ciphers I added myself, like the Ophiuchus, the sun and moon, the sun and moon reduced, the composite is the composite number cipher, right? So instead of prime number cipher, there's a composite number cipher, and some of these numbers get really big, so that's why we have the reductions there. We created a lot of the alphanumeric ones that you're not going to find in any channel. The category alphanumeric, about 6 rows down.
Yeah, I haven't seen any anywhere. This is like the only
no, these
resource
are
I'm
all,
aware of.
yeah, these are all like what we channel. These are all, I don't take any credit for it. So whatever's channeling through me, this is what they wanted me to put out there. So we have the 2 versions of the most popular Pi 3.141, and then the correct 3.144. That's by Jane 108. If you know who that guy is, he's a really smart guy. I learned it from him. We have the Euclid 2.71. Then we have the square root ciphers, right? So the square root of 3 is a really important one. That's why I have it on as one of the master default ciphers, because that's the
I like this one too.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's the Vesica Piscis. So you're talking about the portal. We're talking about solar and lunar eclipses are tied to the square root of 3. So that's really, really important. And then we just went all the way up to square root of 10. Progression is just the numbers doubling.
Doesn't Robert Edward Grant use this one?
He does. He talks about it. He doesn't use the cipher, but he talks about the square root of 10. Yep. Fibonacci, we also created that one. Fibonacci reduced, just to lower the numbers down. That's kind of an original. The binary is based off of computers, the zeros and ones. We did that one. That was original as well. So yeah, they're a lot of fun, man.
And you get all these little beautiful numbers.
You do, and that's why using is really kind of futile, because you got to know which one to use. And if you're just going to use one, then you got to piggyback and start to connect the dots. So if you're going to use the golden ratio, my suggestion is you empty everything out at the top left there.
Mm-hmm.
Just click.
That's what I do. When I started doing that, it got a lot clearer. It was much more difficult because
focus your energy on one. That's how I learned. I learned by Chaldean numerology. That's kind of where I learned from.
I'll do these two, and I'll take out English. Yeah, and that's what I do.
Yeah, those are really good ones. And this is, like you're using advanced tools, because most people that are using numerology, they'll call it gematria. They're just they're messing around with English and the reversal stuff. They're just kind of regurgitating that and how they learned, which is fine. But the less you use, the better, the more accurate your system is going to become. So if you're going to stick with the 1.61, then you start mathematical patterns with that. And especially with gold, it's mind blowing when you start to, and it'll be in the book on how special gold is and the golden ratio cipher and how it's embedded right into it. It's amazing.
Yep. There's a lot of words that have the same number in both ciphers too.
Right.
And for me, that just makes that word that much more like.
Agreed.
Yeah, like this is it. This is tight. This is definitely a connection.
So then if you have a match like that there, then you, like, what word matches in both ciphers? Do you know one by heart? Penis. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so does God. God is 20 and 1.61.
Oh, is it? God.
Yeah.
Let's see. God. Oh, God matches that.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, it doesn't match it in the square root of 3. So when I find a 20 and a 20 and a 20 in the 1.61, you stick with that, and then you start to go into the 1.61 mathematical mathematical equation. You go 20 spaces into it. That's another way to do it. You look for the number 20 in the mathematical equation of 1.61. You add up those digits. So this is how this whole code was created on whatever created our reality.
You can come in, you could, like, if you want to go 20, like where's 20, you go up to the 20th digit and then you add all these digits together to get
you can add them all up.
Number, right? Yeah.
Or you can even type in 4, right? Because V is 4 and it's the 20th letter, and you can not 20, not T is 20. T is 20. So it's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you just type in 2 and you get an outcome there, and that's another way you can do it. So the outcome for 2 for the 20th letter. No, you just type in TWO.
Oh,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
You spell it out, and now you get 16. So now you have another outcome.
Oh, look, it's 16 in both.
There you go. Well, 2 is a big one because that's the binary. That's the Bereshit in Hebrew, the first letter of the Torah. That's the X's and O's, the ones and zeros. That's the binary system. That's hot and cold, left, right, yin, yang, up, down, 2. So that's a big one. And that connects to sulfur and oxygen on the periodic table. So you can start going there. You can type in oxygen, you can type in sulfur, and so you just find a match. Keep finding matches.
Yep, that's how I do it.
Yep, I know.
Yeah, I'll just take the words, like, like if I'm thinking about something in Virgo or Leo, I'll go in there and I'll just start typing in whatever the energy is, and then you just write down your numbers, and sometimes you leave it at that, and then you go back and you can start making connections. It's like a web. It's not a linear path always.
No. You do a great job, man. You do a great job. I mean, I've watched your stuff, and you drop so many hints, like just what you do. If I watch your presentations, if I watched every single one, there's tons of bombs in there. You don't even realize you're dropping in, and you keep doing this, and you'll start to memorize, and you won't have to. You'll just be like, woof, and you'll be off to the races, man. Because you're already starting to memorize.
I'm feeling the memorizing. Yeah. The periodic table is one that's easy to memorize for sure. The barium and the lanthanum and the bromide with the 138 association for sure. Yeah. I love it. I never thought I would meet somebody so into what you're doing that it just blew me away. It was like going into a whole new world, a whole new and it just made sense. It resonated very much with the way my brain works and the way it thinks about things. Because I don't know about you, but I'm always pareidolia. Always, there's always a pattern somewhere. There's always something that's connected. I can always see it, and I don't share that with everybody because people think you're crazy when you do that. But when you see the patterns, you can't unsee them. And to me, I think that pareidolia is just a genius that's unrecognized. There's, if you can make those associations across all broad different networks of information and systems, then that's awesome. Because so many people are in their little silo and they can't make those connections.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a lot of precision in your chart. So, I mean, and to connect the dots that you connect, and you're using multiple systems now. You're in the 1% really, and that's really giving you credit because a lot of people dedicate their lives to just one system, but you're crossbreeding different systems into astrology, and that's not what other people do. Other people, they don't want to crossbreed into or cross-pollinate, and you're doing that. And so you're kind of in that 1%, that you're kind of a standalone, and I think that's what changes the game. That's what kind of makes people step back and think wow, there's something to this, because you're making the patterns recognizable now and undeniable. And that's what nature does. Nature's in patterns. And when you recognize the patterns in the mathematics and the equations of chemistry and astrology, which is what you're doing now, nature's starting to observe you back. And that's where you're going to start to download more of the information. And it's just going to start clicking and clicking. And when that happens, man, your stuff's just going to keep, what's great is you can look at your stuff now and go a year if you're doing now. And it's like, that stuff was crap. You're going to be so advanced in 1 year from now. Yeah, that's how it works, man. Yeah. Your presentations keep getting better, your microphone, your tone, your volume, your presentation, everything just keeps getting better. And if you keep doing it, you'll look back a year from now and be like, I think I'm going to delete some of these videos because they're nothing as good as what I'm doing now.
Wow. Well, thank you for the encouragement and the positive feedback. I appreciate that.
You're
And
welcome.
also help with the mouse.
Oh yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
was like, how do the
you
people
can
do that?
you should be able to reduce that circle down in the application. I don't know because you're using Microsoft, but you should be able to go into the settings and make it smaller or bigger
Yeah.
or bigger. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
there's
know.
all kinds of different ones you can download. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought it was a setting I had to do on my computer. I made my mouse hand pointer bigger, but in
Right.
PowerPoint, when you're trying to draw, it doesn't
Yeah.
show for you. So
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
like that. People have been asking me that before. Can you fix your pointer? Because I can't see what you're pointing at. And I might be pointing like at some little tiny degree on the chart, where they have to really see what I'm
Yeah.
looking at. So
It makes a big difference, man. I've forgotten the cursor sometimes, and I'll literally delete the video and redo it just because that makes a
because
big
you don't
difference.
have your cursor. Oh
I don't
wow.
have my I have my little red dot. Usually it's red, and it's very it's very recognizable, and it allows people to follow along much easier, which makes your information more valuable because if they're not following along, the value drops down. So I feel like the cursor is important.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight because we're driving home tomorrow. So we got to pack up and clean the house up. But again, thank you so much for dropping in and saying hi to me and everybody and chatting with us for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
having me and listening to my rambling because I like to ramble and rant and all that kind of stuff. So thanks
No, I
for
love these kind of conversations. I could do this
yeah.
for I could do this every day. So yeah, I'm definitely down for regular meetups on the channels and talking about whatever's going on in the world to keep people connected to their stars and to their code.
Well,
And
maybe you should ask your community because I think the idea that I had was for you and I to join forces and just take someone's chart and just break it down and kind of bounce things back and forth. I got the idea of that, and you popped into my head. I was looking at Dr. Phil's chart,
okay,
and I don't know why you popped. I think because you're Dr. Danny, right? I think
all
maybe
right,
that's why. But I was like, man, this would be kind of cool if I did this with Danny because she's really good, and you say something, it may trigger something that I can see that allows me to go deeper. And that's what I love about doing it with other people, not just myself, because I'm just one set of eyes. So with your amazing set of eyes, I think we do really well. And go look at his chart. He's got a pentagram in his chart. Amazing.
okay.
Yeah, man. He's a 10 of diamonds. That guy is a Gregorian. A lot of people don't like that guy, but very, very
All right.
wealthy.
So we'll have to do a Dr. Phil decoded.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
That would be really
Yeah, I
cool.
remember his shows. Him and Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Phil was always good at making people cry.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you go look him up, man, he has he has like a lot of critics, and I see why, right? But I don't care. But he's a very interesting guy. But is because he's got a pentagram in his astrological chart. That was what really floored me, because it's a very special, the 5-pointed star in someone's chart. That's like amazing. And then he's a 10 of diamonds in the Gregorian system, like amazing. Born to be on
Yeah.
TV. He's got a lot of Leo
And
energy.
we have to start proving the real sky with these people's
Real
charts that
sky,
everybody
baby.
knows,
Yeah,
that
man.
everybody knows. Yeah. I've gotten that feedback too with
Yeah.
my class. Like, can you do some popular people? So the biggest thing with me is I will come in completely fresh because there's a lot of people that I don't know. That I don't, because I don't like television. I used to, like, a long time ago, but somebody like that I remember, I could probably do. But if you brought me like a new person like that's famous, I'd probably be like, who? but I can still read their chart. Like, I can still give you that person based on their stars. So yeah.
Well, maybe you want to ask your community, do a poll and see what top 3 people they want to
Okay.
have us kind of look at. That may be just for fun. I don't know. You don't have to, but maybe that'd be a cool. I think people like to be involved. I like to have people vote. Voting is pretty important. That's why America's Got Talent and all that crap. People want to press the buttons. They want to say, I want to pick the winner. American Idol. I used to, when I was, did you ever get involved in that show, American Idol?
I watched that a couple of times. I actually was this close to signing up for The Voice.
Oh, wow. No kidding. You're a singer.
Yes, actually.
Wow.
yes.
Wow, amazing. All
I
right.
used to be in a band. I played guitar, played the drums.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was the front person. Yeah, it's kind of like rock and roll, oh God, you've heard of Jewel? I can do her really well.
Oh yeah.
I can do Alanis Morissette really well. I can do
Wow.
Sinead O'Connor really
Did
well.
you
So I
take
had
like
a lot of
singing lessons or?
no, just kind of gifted with it and always interested in it. Yeah, when I don't remember not knowing how to play the piano. And I was always involved with like the school plays and the chorus and singing and being part of that. And then when I got out of high school, I was a theater major. I went to theater school, and then that didn't work out. So I went back to school for science, and while I was working through all that, I was like, you know what, I need to get back into my artistic side because I'm all science right now. So I picked up my guitar and started playing it again, and then I hooked up with a guy who played lead and also sang, and the bass. He knew a bass player and a drummer, and so we all got together. We just started doing covers and playing open mic nights and had our own gigs for a little bit. And then I had to move. I had to move to Savannah, and Savannah's a pretty cool place.
That's a really
Yeah. It's one of those places where you can just drop in any bar and your favorite band's playing. And after a while, they would be like, Dr. Danny's here. And I'd whip
cool.
out my harmonica. My hair was longer then.
What's your, I don't remember, forgive me, where's your Mercury?
It's Cancer, second house.
And where's your moon?
Capricorn 9.
Capricorn 9, and Mercury, Cancer where? What house?
2.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your house of money, so you could have been a singer. Mercury.
I was supposed to be in front of the public in some form or fashion.
You have Leo, so you got Leo in your chart, yeah?
Leo in the 4th with Mars there, yeah. And I thought I was a Leo sun. Like that was my natal. That was my natal chart. Like you're a Leo sun, okay, and an Aquarius moon, and that was my tropical energy with Gemini rising, which it could fit, right? It could sort of fit.
Yeah, but Mars and Leo, man, yeah, that's.
But now it's Cancer sun and Taurus rising and Capricorn moon. So
is your Mars near Regulus?
I think so, yeah. It's like
what do Mars is in Leo?
Yes, I can tell you that.
Well, I'm going to be going on the 360 map. You're going to be going on just how many degrees Leo is. I don't remember. Leo's like 104 degrees to 142.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not going to go. You're going to go on how just the span of Leo.
Okay. Well, how about this? I'll just bring up my chart and you tell me.
Well, how close to the Leo?
I don't think it is. I don't. Well, so I don't have the Regulus symbol in these charts, and I don't think they're.
Regulus is like just before the Leo symbol in Master in the Zodiac. That's how I can remember it.
Okay. Let me show you.
Yeah, it's around 117, 118 degrees.
On the software, it was.
Oh yeah, cool.
But
no, you're a little past it actually. Regulus is before the symbol, so that's about 100 and that's about 124 degrees, I think, maybe. Total in the 360, right? So it starts at 104.
Right.
Yeah, right there. And then if you start Leo off, it's 104 degrees at the very beginning of it.
Right here.
Yeah, 104. So 105, 10, 15, 20. So 118. Oh, maybe no, actually, maybe that's after the Leo symbol. Maybe you're right after 118. Yeah, you might be right on Regulus. I thought it was before Regulus the symbol, but maybe it's right after it.
Yeah,
but you're close.
Yes, I am. I am very close.
You're close, man. But yeah, no wonder why though that you have that Leo energy, and then Virgo service, man. That's the nursing, and your 5th house is Virgo, so there's your service into the nursing.
Yeah, this is doing things.
That's your nursing
differently. This is not doing it the way Mom did it for me. This is like, and also being very independent during childhood. This is like I was an only child for until my little brother was born when I was 13. So basically, like from 0 to 13, I was an only child. So very independent. I didn't really rely on camaraderie with my brother because he was so young. So it was an only child energy. But yeah, so
look at all that esoteric energy though. I mean, 8th house Scorpio, Sag, 7th house Ophi and Scorpio, and you got Poseidon in Scorpio just like me, and you're freaking your Rahu's in Scorpio and Ophi. Jeez, That's like
Yeah.
esoteric extraordinaire right there.
This is projecting the savior
Woo! That
onto
is
the partner.
yeah, that is like esoteric bliss right there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
this is fantasy projecting the savior onto the partner. When life took a big turn when I realized the savior was within me and not on the other person. Made a lot of bad choices when I was like, oh, you're gonna, oh, you're my savior, you're my knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
That had to go away quickly. I had to learn that I'm my own knight in shining armor.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
it just made sense to me to be in Ophiuchus, right? Like, this is what I do. Like, I'm your mirror. I'm showing you the best version of you when I read your chart.
Yeah,
Like
and
this,
I mean,
yeah.
I love the fact that you have your K2 in Taurus in the first house, and like what you incarnated with was like you probably some lavish la di da in a past life, but now your focal point is on not so much structure now. That's like I always look at Ophiuchus as like the spiritual alchemist. So taking that energy of the Taurian energy, structuring it through the physicality and moving it into the seventh house and you're creating partnerships. I mean, people here right now on this podcast are part of that Ophiuchus Scorpio
Hmm.
seventh house you got going on right there.
Yep. And it's connected to my Jupiter, 10th house Aquarius, new
Yeah,
age ideas, being
yeah,
the guru, being the leader, being in the public space.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Expansion of community, man. That Jupiter in Aquarius. I mean, that's what your career is, right? The career, Jupiter in Aquarius, expansion of social circles. We got to get you. We got to get you to a bigger audience, man. I know you're going to get there. I mean, I can see that in your destiny. Just keep plugging along with your content, and you really are a doctor. I mean, there's no
Right.
doubt. An esoteric, spiritual, really. I mean, metaphysician. Only can see that
Yeah.
in the chart. Were you was your was your speech kind of suppressed when you were younger? Don't be quiet, shut up, don't talk. Like, was that anything involved in your life?
Like I said, I spent a lot of time alone because I didn't have siblings, and the
Okay.
parents were working, and or they would be watching television, and I'd just be quietly entertaining myself.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, but definitely they said I was talkative. Yeah, they
Okay.
said
I
I
mean,
got
every
motor
time
mouth. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you see that Saturn in Gemini. So Saturn for me is like restriction. So it makes you speak really good, but you got to put your time in to do it.
Got to practice.
You got
Yes.
to practice. So it's made you a very effective speaker.
Yeah. This is a chart for somebody who has a lot of success like later.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh
I'm
yeah.
coming into that laterness, you know what I
Well, yeah,
mean? Like,
second house of money, man. Saturn's going to
right,
make you wait for your fame. So,
right,
but you
because
got to use your
I'm
voice.
a hot mess before all of this. Well, so what's so interesting is that connection to Chiron there, because being alone and not having to scream for what I
Uh-huh.
want with siblings, I've always been very polite, very kind, very accommodating with what I think and letting people think what they want to think and not trying to argue. And part of being in the public space is like standing for what you're believing in and not really backing down and
Yeah.
taking the heat from people that hear your content and don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
mean, you get them, the trolls. But with this Chiron wound, I had to get over that so fast. It was in order to realize this, because those words hurt. When trolls come onto your channel and they say nasty, horrible things to you, you're like,
Oh yeah.
whew.
Oh yeah.
But you just love them and you just move on, and you know. So,
Yep. For sure. Well, that's amazing.
and I know your chart really well from Spotlight, because
Uh-huh.
you use your chart as the example in that course. And so
I did because
yes, we
people
were all learning from you. Yeah.
yeah, well, a lot of people want to know like, hey, how are you coded? And so I figured, well, I'll just use myself as the guinea pig here, so you'll get kind of knock out two stones at the same time. So, but I have a lot of similarities. My Poseidon is in Scorpio. My Mars is in Ophiuchus. So there's a lot of similarities there between you and I. My Pluto's in Virgo. I mean, a lot of people our age have Pluto and Virgo, right? Because it's so
Mhm.
slow moving. But yeah, man, I love your chart. I mean, you can clearly see you were born to do this, you know. So I think that's pretty awesome. And your fame will come, you know, as it kind of shows kind of later on in life.
Mhm.
So your best years are ahead of you. I mean, that's
That's
pretty
right.
exciting if you ask
That
me.
is right.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, what I love too is with this software, if you get it, is you can see where everything is, and Jupiter's in the second house right now, trying to natal Jupiter, and I love that. I love that right now. I am
Oh man,
benefiting.
that's awesome. That software.
I'm
I don't have freaking
feeling those
Microsoft though,
blessings.
so I wish they would make a Mac. But I
You
know
can
you
do
can
this on Mac. No, you can do this on Mac now.
the True Sky Master in the Zodiac.
Yes,
He's got
yes,
it for Mac.
yes. You can do it on
Okay,
any device. You can do it on Mac. Yeah, it's
okay.
only $15 a month. Yeah.
I'll have to go check it out. Maybe I will. That's awesome. I mean, you use more of the transits than I do. I just for me, I like to use the cards, and then to be honest with you, I don't like to really know what's coming. I'd rather just take it day
I
by
get
day.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I get it. I get
and
it because
not plan my day out or plan my week out. I'm just like I'd rather have surprises
well,
because you're gonna get surprises.
I like to set up the transits for people. I like them to see what's coming and then to be interested in their own chart. Like,
Sure,
okay,
sure.
there's a whole lot of stuff in Ophiuchus right now. It's my favorite time of year because I get to sing about Ophiuchus. And so where's your Ophiuchus? What house is it in? What else do you want to know about Ophiuchus? I can tell you a whole lot about Ophiuchus. Yeah, it's a good time of year for constellational astrology for sure. For sure. And
Yep.
we're trying to get people into it. We're trying to get them excited about it. We're trying to wake them up one soul at a time.
Well, whoever's
And
meant to.
I love you when you're like, oh my God, you shouldn't use trouble. You have that, you're so brave when you just say
I'm an
those things.
asshole, man. Hey, I'm an asshole. I admit it, man. I'm totally cool with that. I have a lot of haters because of when I talk, I'm very passionate, and they're like, "Oh, you think you know it all?" And actually, I know nothing really, because when you go down the rabbit hole really deep, you realize everything's available, and it's just it waters it all down, and it just kind of makes it all murky. So, really, when you go down that deep, you realize, like, yeah, you may seem like you know some things, but no, because everything starts to it's just a melting pot of blah,
But there's times I'm sitting here going, yes, awesome. Yay. I wish I could say it like that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's my Mars and Ophiuchus, right?
Yep, yep.
Like I'm passionate about it. I don't take shit. It's my truth. You don't have to agree with me on
Nope.
that. And people still don't get it, man. Like I put the disclaimer out on almost every video, and there's persecution, and I'm like, dude, did you not hear my message in the very beginning? I put it there specifically for people like you, so you'd realize like this message may not be for you. It's totally fine. Like I don't want to be cookie cutter. I never have said I'm cookie cutter, but people, they just kind of look at it like, and I get it, because your truth's the only truth that matters. So if you feel like the Jesuits and Masons are freaking behind everything, and you think they're in control of the entire world, then this channel's not for you, because we've already kind of supported that they're not. But the truth's not for you, so it's totally fine.
No. Yeah, I don't know why people even like bother saying nasty things on you. Like, what's the point? I don't know you. You don't know me. If I triggered you, go away and figure it out.
Well, it's something internal.
Like,
It's something internal. I mean, I've had to figure that out, man, because I used to be that person. And I still have to. Sometimes I'm typing and I'll just delete it. Like I'll get it out. Like I got to get it out. I got to say what's on my mind, and then I'm like, I'm not sending that. What for?
yeah, what's the point? Exactly. Not going to change anything.
Why am I sending this message? So I can be right. So I get to be right, and I can tell you that you're wrong. And what is that? What happens? And it challenges me, Danny. It still challenges me. So I catch myself writing messages.
I do that sometimes too.
Yeah, it's just you got to get it out.
Tropical
Temper tantrum, So.
Yep. Cool.
Yep.
All right, Logan. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks
It was
for
a
having me.
pleasure
It was
speaking
fun.
with you.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I hope your audience was having a good time. And
They were for sure.
Cool.
All right, you guys, everybody check out Logan's channel. I think Lori put a link in the chat. Go check out his work. He's amazing. Just if you don't understand it right away, just sit with it. If numbers call you at all, just let the information wash over you. Something will hook in, and then you just go back a little bit to about last summer. That's when he started doing tropical or constellational astrology. Anything before that, he's all tropical, but after that, he's
Well, no, I was actually Vedic. I stopped doing
Vedic.
tropical.
Okay.
I don't know what year it was, but I started doing Vedic many years ago. When I was doing readings, I would take two charts. I would take the tropical and Vedic and do them side by side. There were people that I was doing both of them. I was given interpretations on both. So I was slowly getting there. Finally mastering the Zodiac was somewhere around 2020. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was last summer. Because I once I got to the point where you weren't using the mastering the zodiac, I was like, oh, those are tropical charts. Okay. But yeah, no, your information's good. That's the whole point of it. Like the connections that you make and how you work with the codes and connect just two things just that completely would not be associated and bring them together through these methods. It just really opens up a whole new universe if you're into the numbers or if you're a polymath like we are, like it's just awesome. It's just cool.
Yeah. So. You know what it was? It was on June 12th, I think. I was out at the beach and I had two phones. I have my US phone and my Mexico phone with me in my pocket. I don't know why I was carrying both. And I was at the beach and it was dark enough. The moon was like giving off maybe a third of its light. And I looked up and I saw it in Leo. I was like, oh, the moon's in Leo, right? I don't freaking keep track of the moon all the time. So I took a picture of it, and then I opened up the Stellarium app because I just started using it, and I was like, okay, let's check the tropical, and they had it in Virgo, and that was the night when I went home, and that was it for me. I was like, there's no way. And I even sent it. People that know Santos Bonacci, he's a friend of mine. We had a falling out. We're friends again. I have no ill will towards him, but I even sent it. I've sent him two different images. And dude, how can the moon be there and be in tropical at the same time? Explain this to me. Please explain this to me. It's crickets, man. And then I just get hammered on the back end that I'm putting this content out and how I'm wrong and la-di-da-di-da, right? So I have no ill will towards anybody, but someone like that, a friend of mine still gets mad a system that's not like yours, and then you have no proof. I got proof, man. I got images of the sky.
Right. I got data.
That's my proof, man. I didn't Photoshop that. That is an actual image. And now I've done it 3 times. I did it when I was in Acapulco last year, when Zeus was in Taurus, at the horns of Taurus. I sent it to Santos then. I'm like, dude, explain this? How can it be in 2 places at one time? And I got hammered for that, right? Because you get no response. You got nothing. You can't reply back. You can't give me an answer because you got no answer because it's not possible, right? And then I got hammered again when I did the astrology drift. More, it's okay. It just, not going to stop me from keep doing it. It's not going to stop.
No. Eventually, people will get it, and it's because it's not there to like cause you anger or we're just doing science.
We're just doing astronomy too, right? Yeah. Like this is astronomy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, how long ago did you start using it? What year did you kind of go into it?
2020.
Oh, 2020, 5 years. Mm-hmm. Did you struggle? Like, did you feel like you didn't want to do it? You like resisting it, or how was it for you?
I was like, why the fuck is every astrologer using this wicked, spooky wheel that doesn't even match the sky? Why are they doing this?
You were using it, or you got into astrology in 2020, and you started using you got introduced.
I was always into astronomy and the cycles of the planets.
Oh, okay.
Like I always felt like the cycle of the moon was very pertinent to like people's health, and the Mercury cycles and the Venus cycles and the eclipses. Those were all like, I was always very, very interested in them. And, I heard peripherally and I knew my chart. But I didn't actually want to like do people's charts and study it on a day-to-day basis until I realized that there was $1 billion industry filling the airwaves with false information.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is so stupid. No wonder people laugh at astrology. No wonder I have to feel like I have to hide my love for this because it's wrong anyway. And then I found Athen and I was like, oh, thank
How did
God.
you meet Athen? How did you find him? Just randomly?
I just interneted. I said 13 sign astrology, constellational astrology, like all the words I was searching for and dying to find. And at that point, he had the calculator, and then shortly after that, it dropped off. Like he didn't have it, so I couldn't calculate. So I just spent time learning about Ophiuchus, and I got the software. And then his calculator came back, and then he did this new software that's web-based that you can do on every platform. So it's making it more widely available. So there's almost like no reason not to be like, yeah, I can get it if you can't get it in ephemerides and you have to do it hand calculations. Like that's a pain in the ass, or if the software's too expensive. But this is like, it's right there, it's available. So
that's awesome.
We got to use it. Yeah. Got to use it.
Well, the next thing now is the rising now is at 7 degrees Pisces on March 22nd or March 20th. Is it 7 degrees?
Yeah. 7 more degrees. Yeah.
7 more. Yeah. So I'm going to have to go, I'm going to try doing the 0 point there and measure it out and see what it comes out to. That's another wrench in the whole concubine, man.
Or you could try it from the galactic center.
True.
Yeah, I think.
What's your true point? What date do you have?
Well, the sun is there today. The sun is there today, right now.
The 18th of December.
Yeah, moving into Sagittarius. Yeah, tomorrow or tonight and tomorrow.
The official galactic center for you is December 18th.
It's right. That's where the sun is. It's right here. Yeah.
I mean, it is the solstice, right? The sun. I mean, the equinox is not the name for soul. Solstice is. So winter and summer solstices, I think, are more standout than the equinoxes are.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, these are the apexes. Winter and summer are the apexes of the season, right? Because spring is not. It's too, and fall's too. They're too light. But there's so many different. There's a million ways to look at it, man.
There are, and then you can go with the Mayan calendar, and there's a whole different. Like July is their beginning. Yeah.
There's a million, man. I mean, it's bottomless. It's endless.
That's right. That's right. That's why you got to pick one system and use it.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks for having me and rambling on a little bit longer than.
No, I love it. Like I said, I could talk about this stuff all. This is what I do. This is what excites me. Like the mental gymnastics to try and figure out what this world's about and who we are and why we're here. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And life is so much more beautiful when you know your code. Yeah, and you live in alignment. You know, I couldn't live your life with the small, not a lot of stuff. Like I need things. I need, stuff around me and comfort and that's in my code. Like Venus second house, like I need stuff, and you're more stoic and aesthetic, and that's the Saturn in Taurus. Like because there is a purity that is very embodiable in the aesthetic, you know the word I'm trying to say, where you don't have a lot of stuff.
Aesthetics.
That lifestyle. Aesthetics, yeah. There is a purity and an embodiment in that, which I can certainly appreciate. And maybe when I get a little older, I might be more into that, but I don't know. I guess I'm still. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, you're in your Saturn's in your second house, right? Yeah, second house. So yeah, I mean that's. Show me the money, man, but you're gonna have to wait for it. Yeah, mine's in Taurus in the 7th house, so it comes through partnerships, and then it's more the minimalism and the nihilism for me, with that placement. So that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm saying my life's not cookie cutter. I don't want to become a minimalist. You look at your chart, you're not meant to be a minimalist. You got to become. You got to be the original person of who you are. You find that through the charts and numerology and all that stuff. So,
yep. And the closer you are to it, the more you're mentally aware of it, which is the whole point of this conversation with the mental awareness of the age we're in. You know, if you have that mental awareness, the body naturally follows into it. Or if you can just turn your mind off and go with the flow. That's the other way. You don't have to go digging into your code. You could just live in the moment.
Yep.
You know, because if you live in the moment and then look back at your chart, it's going to retrospectively prove that to you, that you've been doing the right thing anyway. So, yeah.
Every time the forensics will show you that. Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. But I get it. Some people like just to be in that flow. So it's totally fine. Awesome. All right,
Yeah.
Danny.
All right, friend.
Have a good night. And thank you for everybody for watching and following and supporting and all that kind of good stuff.
All right, Logan. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.
Yep. Take care.
Much
love. All right. See you guys.
Bye. Well, awesome. That was a nice surprise having Logan in. I invited him and I gave no pressure. I said, you can come if you'd like. And he showed up. So that's pretty cool. So I will wrap this up with you guys. We went long tonight. Thank you guys for coming and talking with us and listening to our conversation. Yeah, I'm hoping we can do more of these and bring up, different topics, different famous people, and show actually that the true sky does work. So I will probably I might do one more live stream before the end of the year. I'm cooking something up that I think you guys will find fun and interesting, but I don't know how appropriate it is for the entire public. So I'll have to think about it, but we'll see. So I'm going to play for you guys the top 10 reasons why you should study astrology. And then I'm going to sign off. Much love, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll talk to y'all later.